Part 4 of surviving a heart attack. And then this episode, the fourth part, I think, because it's been a few days, a few weeks actually, since part 3 that I did, I'm going to entitle it Going Forward. Today is 100 days since that pretty fateful Sunday afternoon. And so 100 days today, and I just wanted to do the update of what that has looked like, and I have optimism going forward for sure. So there was new life given to me on Monday, that following Sunday, when, as you know, I got the news that I had a 99% blockage. I'm in the heart cath, and they opened it. So what's happened now post heart attack? And I call it an attack. I hate calling it a heart attack because the cardiologist doc said, man, if you'd had a heart attack, you would not have survived. But it was certainly it was the beginning of a heart situation, I'll call it. Well, let's first look. I'm a little hesitant about doing this because if you knew me before, you're going to look, oh, Phil, you're like, what happened to you? I've lost a lot of weight, and that's the first thing I want to report. I'm going to update the sort of what has happened. Obviously, I'm much healthier now, though, and I'm really back where I should be. I according to the BMI, Basmati, the base body index, I was obese. Had been for years. Didn't look obese. I was heavy. I had a gut out to here, etc. I had a big double chin. So what's happened to me? I can assure you this look that's developing will be a much better look as I go into my next decade and beyond, I hope. I noticed, I remember when Bill Clinton had his heart situation, and he had to have triple bypass or something like that. And I remember seeing pictures of him months after, and it's only been, like I said, 100 days for me. I didn't have bypass, but he looked terrible. I thought, oh my God, he looks terrible. It's all gone and all this stuff. And then he looked great. And it's funny because as I found out, he started right after that on the Plant Strong Diet by Esselstyn. Engine 2, the author of Engine 2, Rip Esselstyn. His dad is the doctor who, the cardiologist that for the last number of decades, 30, 40 years, has done a lot of research and proven treatments for heart disease. And that's who I had found from my son-in-law sending me a book, The Engine 2 Diet, which I began. I'll talk about that in a second. But funny, I found out Clinton had done this, was having great results, and then has since sort of left the plant strong vegetarian / vegan lifestyle. I still think he's whatever, but I'm not sure why you would do that. And I'm going to talk about what do you think, where do I plan to go, and what am I doing? All right, so update. I weighed 212 pounds on April 7th. When I felt the pressure, not the pressure, but the ache right there. And called my brother and got to the hospital within 10 minutes, 5 minutes after he picked me up. Today, when I made my notes originally, written by me, by the way, I wrote down 177 to 180. Today, I weighed myself because I progressively am now slowly continuing to lose weight. And I weigh 174, pretty solid right now. 174, that's 38 pounds in 100 days. 38 pounds in 100 days. I think most people might say, oh, that's unhealthy, whatever. Well, I don't think not necessarily in my case. I'm actually now in, for the first time in probably 15 plus years, 20 years maybe, since my 30s, I'm in a healthy weight to height range, body index, with I think more to go. And then here's my challenge. Here's my problem though: is 4 or 5 days after the procedure, I'm home. I'm feeling so thankful, filled with gratitude, dealing with this what I'd faced and what the future held, and not sure what that was going to be. And I had started to get a little bit of a gout attack, flare up, before. I've had it over 20 years off and on. And this thing hit me, then it came on after I felt it. It came on. The last 3 episodes you've watched me in parts 1, 2, and 3, I was in pretty strong pain. I couldn't even walk. I had to use a walker to get around. I'm still to this day, I've not walked in 12 weeks by myself. Now, amazingly, I just took my seat, taking little steps, first time. Amazing, just another amazing, I think, recovery item, because the flare up of gout that I've had has been worse than dealing with this, way worse. So without getting into all that, that's really kept me from any type of exercise. So I've lost this weight with no exercise except for getting around, which has been, walker I've found is like, it's not for the faint of heart. It beats you up, and I now have a newfound respect for that. I have a newfound respect for the few times I've been able to get out. It took me a good 6 to 7 weeks before I could actually get into the car without too much pain and actually drive myself to Costco or whatever so I could shop. I've become, how have I done things? I've had some help from my brothers, neighbors, and grocery delivery services. Whole Foods via my Amazon Prime membership has been an absolute lifesaver. Well, 38 pounds and feeling it, all for the better. Another thing that's been dramatic is my cholesterol. I just had it checked last week. We did an update because we were checking the uric acid, which was through the roof the week after. That's another story, but because I went in to just be sure I didn't have any blood clotting. And so they did my uric acid because they said it's gout. They just looked at it and says, oh, your knee and your ankle, same leg, very, very swollen. I go, yeah, it's a gout attack, I think. And then the doctors just kind of give you whatever. Well, they did a uric acid. It was way above, out of range. Now everything has returned normal, so that's good. I am taking some medications with this, and that's all, again, part of my update is the medications I now have to take. And then, like the doctor says, don't even miss a day. I'm moving my Arizona. By the way, the only thing I've drank for the 100 days now, water and Peregrino, the green bottle water, mineral water. That's the only thing I drink or have drank, with the exception of I did cheat on 2 occasions. Had 7-Up when I was in intense pain. I'm rambling now, but anyways, water. I started a water service because I couldn't really buy the bottled water. It was too bulky and heavy in terms of getting stuff in from the car, which became a shuttle service. I had to break things down and bring it in by a small bag with using the walker. But that was my reality for a while, or has been. So let's get back here. So my cholesterol, unbelievable. It was 198 or 7. I remember seeing it in the hospital because I remember asking, so what was my cholesterol when I entered, like the other day? And it's 190 something, which I was actually thought, geez, I kind of would have expected it to be 200 something, 300. I think the highest it had ever been was 280. So I had actually kept my cholesterol lower, but had gone again from like the 150 range up to about 190. So when I entered that day with my heart in distress and the blockage, that what it was, I was about 198 or so. So as of last week, my cholesterol is 111. And I attribute it, yes, to the cholesterol medication that I'm taking now, that I've been ordered to take, and I'm willing to do it because of the stent. It's part of the recovery process, and they say I'm supposed to take it for at least a year. 111, even better. My ratio from good to bad is rated 3.0, which is like considered really good. 4.9 is the borderline. I'm 3.0. I also am way low on a new one that's called the VLDL or something. I'd not seen it before. I just saw that today. I'd missed it in the first report. And it's like in an excellent range. So health-wise, that's going to be very indicative of healing my cardiovascular, keeping all that really good. My blood pressure, Wow, amazing. Uh, and it's like in the 112 to 120. It seldom is up over 120 now, and the lower number is always at 80, 80, 83, or 70, down to 70, in the 70s. So amazing there. Now I am on a blood pressure medicine, which I had been before, which was totally not effective before. So huge improvements. All my blood work now is all returned. Everything that was a little bit wacky, wonky, has all now returned to within the norm range for the most part. Uh, I attribute this not only to the medication but the diet of losing 38 pounds. And what has this diet been? It's basically plant-based. I'm not really a vegan because I don't prescribe to the save the world, save the animals, et cetera, and that the problems are all because of, I do believe some of our problems with whatever, it's not because of the animals. I don't know. Without getting into that, I'm not into it for the politics, but I am into it for the healthy lifestyle that I believe a plant-based, plant-focused, plant-strong diet makes in your life, and the healing that takes place as a result. So what does that mean? Well, it means that fat, salt, sugar, and oils gone. I've not had, now the only thing I've cheated on over the last 100 days would be I have had some yogurt, Chobani yogurt. I quit that now because of its indication that it might cause inflammation. I'm trying to get rid of the inflammation in my knees right now, which seem to either be continuing with the gout or something. I don't know what it is. I've been doing everything. Cherry juice, OPC3, on and on and on. CBD oil, whatever. I've tried. I'm really continuing to go forward. Arthritis, dairy is directly associated with arthritic conditions. From everything I've been reading or listening, mostly on YouTube, to lectures from these doctors, particularly either Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. McDougall from the Starch Diet, and Dr. Clapper, and all these other guys, that they all agree on the basis, which is plant focus. Eat green plants. And that's what I've done for the last 100 days. I have had a little bit of chicken, and I've used my air fryer for it. I don't even season it. It's delicious as it is. But that has become where I'm down to just having maybe some chicken wings, air fried. Again, pretty much nothing on it, maybe a hot sauce. But I've just, I'm even thinking maybe that won't even be that won't be a thing in my future. I don't think. So, what do I eat? I'm eating. Let me just oatmeal, seeds, particularly hemp seed, chia seeds, and hemp chia. Oh, quinoa, I think, is another grain. I'll put that into. I haven't put that into my oatmeal. In the morning, I have these power oats. Rip Esselstyn talked about his big breakfast, and it's basically oatmeal, either steel cut or it's a type of steel cut oats, with the quinoa, 2 tablespoons, a tablespoon of chia, tablespoon or 2 of hemp seed. I put that in at the end, mix it all up with raisins. And now, because I've never been able to eat oatmeal ever in my life without some kind of sweetener or that type of thing. And so I can now. It tastes fantastic. It's amazing how your taste buds begin to change when you get rid of all the fats and sugars. It tastes delicious, but the raisins, I just have a couple handfuls in there, and it's my favorite meal now of the day. But beans, I never was a big bean person, but I'm eating the black beans, a tri-bean thing. Black beans, though, are really delicious. They're the basis of a lot of things, of soups that I've had, etc., which I'm trying to do more of. Vegetable soups, salads, obviously, and I've just finally got into doing more of buying the organic, like chard. I haven't done kale yet. Everybody recommends that. But spinach. Collard greens, I love the greens of that, and then topping that off with maybe some tomato, although I cut that out because of the supposed purine level. But anyways, just celery. It's real basic. Celery, some raisins, the greens, and for dressing, I've pretty much settled now on just apple cider vinegar, like a shot of apple cider vinegar with Bragg's aminos on my salads, and they're fantastic. I may do a few walnuts on it. Seeds have to be or nuts have to be restricted because they're high fat content. I pretty much have quit the pine nuts at this point, but I continue with the walnuts. That's basically it, though. When you look at the starch diet, potatoes are fine. And all these things that I was told before, oh, it turns to sugar in the blood and that'll cause inflammation. It's a total lie. It's just a total lie. Well, I'm just it's a no meat, no sugar, no salts, no oils, or very little. I have salted a couple soups with like a teaspoon of salt for the thing, and the last one I made included none. No eggs. I hate that. I've got about a dozen pasture-raised eggs, and I've come to convince that it's not worth it between the cholesterol and the inflammation. That I don't believe egg is the perfect food that I was told when you're studying and you're following people that are doing paleo and Whole30 and this sort of thing. And again, I'm an open book right now, knowing that look where I ended up, and where I want to go now is based on the results of what these doctors say. And no fast food for 100 days. None. Remember I told you, my last fast food was a fast food burger. You have to watch episode 2, I think, on that, or part 2, on what I had that afternoon. And 4 hours later I was in the emergency room. And like I said, I don't think it was that burger, but that was my last fast food meal that day, and the last one I've had. And again, I still have to be honest. I think, yeah, I'll have this again. Just go. I loved it. I don't know if I will. It's not worth it. Why? Because that kind of lifestyle and food look where I ended up. And I do believe this was diet. I believe, as Dr. McDougall says of the starch-based diet, and Dr. Esselstyn, heart attack and the threat of heart attack and heart disease is a moot point if we change the food we eat. They believe it that strongly, and I'm there as well now. Drinking, no, I said I've drank water, but and coffee, black coffee in the morning, organic, fresh. I use a pour over, and but nothing in it. I used to do butter, Kelly Gold, with my MCT oil. It was good, but I don't really believe it was good for me. What else? I gave away all my foods that were my frozen chimichangas, everything else. I have a few more things to get rid of, like the coconut milk. It's too high fat content, etc. I've also had no alcohol, primarily because of the gout. It's a trigger for a gout flare-up. So I do plan to have alcohol again, a beer now and then, and maybe like a vodka tonic. I mean, whatever. But no drinking now for 100 days, where I used to, I had cut back quite a bit in the past for the last year. Maybe drank every month or two, and on a Friday. Only on once or twice drank a little too much, but nothing dramatic. I've also added green juicing just this past couple weeks. I bought this juicer when I got back to Phoenix. It was on clearance, and because I'm not eating enough greens. I'm not as big of a greens person as I want. I love salads, but sometimes I'm just lazy. So I'm getting this power green juice. I'll share that in upcoming episodes, or some of the recipes I have, which are phenomenal. And that green juice is fantastic. I can't get enough of it. So that's what I'm eating and drinking, and feeling great, and like I said, dropping weight like it's dropping weight. So I'm going to wrap this up and we'll do a part 2 of part 4, because we're at almost 20 minutes, and I know I've kind of rambled on, but this is the update. So right now, this first part of amazing results with blood work, amazing results. I feel fantastic with the result of the pain I've experienced and the inability to be mobile, which has been a whole life-changing thing, of which I have a newfound respect and consideration and appreciation and sensitivity for being immobile. So stay tuned, and we'll get to part 2, and in that one I'm going to talk about where do you think I can eat? People look at what I eat now and go, can you eat that the rest of your life every day? potatoes, salads, apples, fruit. Oh, I eat fruit. They mention fruit. I mean, can you do that the rest of your life? It's a legitimate question. I'll talk about it in the next episode. I'll also talk about why I eat this way now. And then last, the 5 things that I think will be a part of my life going forward. I think it's very important going forward in terms of health beyond diet. And then plus one thing that kind of ties into the stress, etc. So, will I stay the course? That's what we're going to be finding out. And also, in the next episode, a little preview too of the channel, What's Up Boomer, and how I've rethought that over the last 100 days and where we're going to go with that. So, thanks for paying attention. This, if you got this far, really appreciate it. Like the channel, subscribe, and look forward to you becoming a part of the Boomer Nation.